offended because somebody kind of pushes before you and you miss the bus, you miss that bus. You can just think, okay, I wanted this seat, but now somebody else has it. And then the way of thinking about, when you think about bodhicitta, why am I so convinced that my happiness is more important than this other person's happiness who now got the seat? Give me a proper reason. There is no reason. There's no valid reason for that, but we have this very, very strong attitude that, yeah, my happiness is more important than somebody else's happiness. I don't even know them. And everybody has that attitude. Okay, so this is what we start to work with. And then your life, when you say, oh, it's so far away and there's such high goals, your life becomes incredibly easy. It becomes really easy. And I think, if you miss 3 buses, I was thinking about the 480 bus going to Jerusalem. No, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, it's easy there because you are confined. People cannot come in front because it's very narrow. It's a very narrow gateway to get on the bus. In Jerusalem, you're on the platform. So if it's like rush hour, it's really difficult to get on that bus. But there's a bus every 15 minutes. And as I said, if you miss one, then you miss 2 because people push and you're the Bodhisattva, you're not pushing. Then you start saying, look, this is the 3rd bus now, can I please take it? And you say that very, very easily, very kind of relaxed. I'm sure somebody will let you go on the bus, even in this country. Give people the opportunity to be kind. Ask, may I please go on this bus? I already missed 2 of them.
The example is that woman, when we were in the car, it was very unfamiliar. Do you remember that
you bumped into her, yeah.
Yes.
And she was very shocked that she didn't shout at her, although she had bumped into her car. So this is it. Okay. So we continue with the verses. 5. So we're still with, the disadvantage of giving up bodhicitta. It has been taught by the Buddha that he who does not give away the smallest thing he once intended to give will take rebirth as 100 ghosts. So that's what the Buddha says. I'm not sure if it is really true, but it could well be, because then once we have made a decision that we want to give something and then we don't give it, so that creates again karmic imprints of that might ripen at the time of death. This kind of greed, not being able to give, because at the time of death you have to give everything away. So it's about this just words, lip service. Sometimes we just make these high promises and think and that we do it and all that, and then we kind of go back, and it's not really, it makes us even smaller than we were before we made the promise. This is the thing. We already have a lot of problem with self-esteem, I think. Do we or do we not? To feel good about ourselves. So we already have a problem, so then we make big promises and then we kind of get back and back and back and back. And you decided to give something. So at one point you decided it. So then at one point you thought, I can give that. But then you don't give it. So it goes into this kind of poverty syndrome. Oh, I don't know what will happen if I give it and all that. And so it fortifies that mentality of being afraid of giving and these kind of things. And feeling worthless and feeling small and all this. And you cannot be a bodhisattva if you have low self-esteem. It's impossible. It will totally buy into that neurosis and we will make it even worse. Because you will take it the wrong way. You will go, oh yeah, everybody else before me and me nothing. It's not like that. You have to become a non-nutnik, basically. A non-needy person. Yeah. And for that, in order to recognize that, we can do it, we use our intelligence. We see, well, okay, I don't have that, what's the big deal? But the ego comes, no, I want it. Children, wow, the toys are in the corner. None of them is interested. Two kids is enough. None of them is interested. The moment one starts to take one, the other one also wants it. We're still the same. Just look when things are being given freely. I don't know if it happens here also. In Switzerland, I take more public transport than here. In the train station in Bern, they give you free Coca-Cola Zero, small ones, or free cold coffee, or free this, or free that, all the time. So it's like, even though, and then I said, no, look, I don't like it, I don't want it. But it's free. So I said, yeah, but I don't like it, I don't drink it. But so many people take it just because it's free. That also, they're not used when somebody says, no, I don't want it. Or here in the restaurants, the special deal, the lunch thing, one portion is too big already, and then they say, if you take the special deal, you can have a first course. Then I said, I don't want the first course, but it's cheaper, you can have it for free. I don't want it because it's too much. It's like this whole thing about that, to see our mentality, we feel stupid when we don't take it. So stand up for it, say, no, thank you, I don't want it. Also, when they tried to sell me kind of cheap deals for the telephone, I said, look, I don't mind to pay more for a serious company. I have the money to pay. I don't mind to pay. Or in India, when I was in India, I don't know how it is now, changing money in the black market. So at the beginning also, I used to go along with it because everybody did it, and I thought, you're stupid. You don't need that money. Why do you put your visa into danger by going and changing it on the black market? Yeah? Just because you get few rupees more. All these kind of things. This is where you start, When you realize it's not necessary, I can let go of that, then you let go. And you'll be surprised how many, as you say, how many people are surprised at your reaction. But it makes them think. So this is how already now we can influence people. By doing it, not, you should also do like this, but by just doing it. By just doing it. Yeah? So once we have made a decision to give something, we should really give it. So here, like in the commentary, it also says, so to give up your Bodhisattva vows or your promise, it doesn't mean that there is moments where you totally feel overwhelmed. There is moments where you feel totally overwhelmed. But what it means, that when we finally say, no, I prefer to look after my own happiness and my own comfort, this is giving it up. Yeah? When you just say, that's too much, not even, like quite a few people only look for their comfort. They don't care what happens with other people. It's a very normal reaction. My family, my country, my religion, my this, my that, or just me, I, me, if you're alone. Yeah? My happiness more important than other people's happiness. That's the common attitude. Okay? So then you have to count with moments like this, that you feel totally overwhelmed. And then go back to chapter 2 and read these, may I become a bridge, and this and that and that and that, until you open up again. Yeah, so the Khmer Chögyam says, never to allow that spark of wanting to grow to go out. It's nice the way she says it. It's very nice. So there is a German, I don't know if there's an English kind of quote for that. There's a German word for that. Was Hänschen nicht lernt, lernt Hans nimmer mehr. So Hänschen Hans is like, I don't know, for the Tibetans, Tenzin. What's the most common name here, male name? Huh? Gideon. Dan. Okay. Dan Lior. So it would be okay. Anyway, let's take Leora because she's going. So what Leora Le? So Leora Le means the small Leora. What Leora Le doesn't learn, Leora will never learn. What Leora Le has not learned, then the big Leora will not learn it either. Yeah, so that is a German kind of quote. What you don't learn now, you will probably, you can't wait and then say, yeah, one day I'll be able to do it. You need to train, and then we go into that. So the worst, she says, that the worst that can happen is that we consciously close our eyes to the sufferings of others. That we're not interested anymore in helping them. Yeah? Okay. Number 6. Then I should deceive all beings after having sincerely invited them to the unsurpassable bliss. Shall I take a happy rebirth? Or if you do that, will you take happy rebirth? Because when you just look for your own happiness, you create a lot of negativities, because you don't care how others feel when you are unethical. So this is very important here, because when you take the Bodhisattva vows, like the verse for that, or when you repair them, then you say, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests. This is one of the sentences that you repeat in Tibetan when the Tibetan Lama is giving you Bodhisattva vows. It usually goes, I take refuge Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, and then you purify negative karma, you rejoice in all the good things, and then you make the promise, I will work for others, and then I invite all beings to be my guests. And then they all come and your door is closed. So what kind of rebirth will you take?
Maybe that's why we're afraid to take vows.
Yeah. But you also use your wisdom, okay? So you invite them, but you're not sending invitations on the Facebook, I'm a Bodhisattva, please come online.
Still it said, like, even with maybe my intention or taking the vows, even if they don't know, I receive them. And
if they come to your door and you can give something, yes, you give it to you. But if you don't have enough, you're not giving it, you're keeping it so you can practice. So again, not being wise would mean, okay, everybody who wants my things, let them have it. Then you're left with nothing. Then what happens? Can you practice being left with nothing? See, if you give something away that you can give away, it benefits others. If you keep it because you want to practice, it also benefits others. So again, don't take it black and white, and don't be so that I have to invite all beings to be my guest. But yes, somebody comes, very happily you will receive them. Why?
That's your intention.
Why is it your intention?
They help us on the path.
Huh?
They help us. to develop
How?
by allowing us to be generous.
Yeah. In order to attain enlightenment, you need to practice generosity. And the first one you start to practice with is with material things. So if nobody wants it, nobody needs it, how can you practice generosity? And these 6 perfections, they're kind of built up so that each one becomes more difficult and more difficult and more difficult. So generosity is the first one, that's the easiest one. And in the scriptures it says, well, the easiest thing to give is material things. I don't think they knew the Western mind. Because we don't know the joy of giving. So you can develop a mind that whoever comes into your focal vision, you're happy to see them. Because you have created that equanimity, so you're very happy about this. Yeah? But it's a mind training. Now we're not. This is why we need to train further. Equanimity, like kindness of others. What do I need to do as a Bodhisattva? And all these kind of things. So the vows are very difficult to keep, but the 6 perfections, they're easy to learn. And so you can, whenever you have an occasion to do it, then you do it. It's sick. Huh?
No, just explanation.
External world.
Oh, okay. Maybe word. Good. So, is that clear? Yeah? Like, even in order to have a life, now forget about Bodhisattva, forget about enlightenment. In order to have enough resources in your life, where does it come from? From being miserly? Yeah? From saving money? That's what Swiss people think. I'm convinced that
It works for them.
Huh?
It works for them.
It works in this life, but why does it work? Because I know other people are very miserly, they're not rich. You see, if that would be the cause, everybody who is so miserly and always looks for the cheapest thing, everybody then would be rich. Then you can say that's the cause, but it's not the cause. It's a it can be a condition if you have the karma for it to work. Yeah. And it's amazing when you see sometimes rich people. It's if you don't know about karma, you can really get frustrated. How they get money without doing anything, just like this. You know, somebody I know, a friend of mine, that she bought an apartment and she thought it was too noisy, but she had changed everything inside. She spent about, I don't know, 300,000 francs or something just to change toilets and baths and da-da-da and all this. And he said, well, no, it's too noisy here. And she put it on sale. She earned $500,000 just by selling it. She's not even a good businesswoman. She's very generous with her money, also. On one hand, I think I've told her about this. On one hand, she's very stingy, but she's also very generous.
Okay.
And she helps young artists who do like
Graffiti?
modern painting, and she buys their paintings, and then all of a sudden they become famous, and then it's like 10 times more than what she bought it for. It's amazing how, and I think they kind of, even the scientists made tests, and they say they have it in their DNA to get easy to you know, so that money comes very easy to them. Yeah. So where does it come from? What do you think? From the Buddhist point of view.
Karma.
What karma?
Generosity.
Huh?
She was generous in
Yeah, exactly. She was
Past
generous in her
lives.
past life. This is why it comes so easy to her. So then, when you complain about not having enough resources, what do you need to do?
to give.
Huh? To give as much as you can. And not to save, but to give. And this is why also we do altars. And so you don't put too many things on the altar, but you do offer to. It's a very Buddha Dharma Sangha is a very powerful object. You give to the Buddha Dharma Sangha, you give to teachers, and you give time to your parents, not necessarily money, but time to your parents and kindness, and to the sick and the poor. These are the 4 most powerful objects to give to. But what do? We want to impress our friends, and we buy them very expensive presents in order to kind of make them attached to us, things that they don't even need. You know, if you look, how much a homeless person really needs the money, but how much money do you spend for gifts for people they don't even need it? Not very clever. And who will be happier if you give the same amount for the gift to the homeless and the person who gets the gift? Who do you think will be happier if you want to make people happy? Definitely the homeless person. And not all of them are addicts. We always go there. All of them are addicts. I'm not going to support their alcoholism or drug addiction or whatever. Not all of them are addicts. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking sometimes in the streets of Tel Aviv to see these old people having to scrap together these you know, like the bottles and these kind of things, and then they get some shekel, I think, when they bring it. And sometimes they're so afraid, because sometimes I ask them, I say, can I give you some money when I see them go to the garbage? And sometimes, no, I'm okay. The old people. They're ashamed. It's so sad, you know. And then you see, especially Tel Aviv, you see all this affluence everywhere. It's like where I live in Shlomo, even Gavirod. It's amazing, you know, like all the shops and the chocolatry and this and that. You can enjoy these things, it's fine, because that's what they're there for, but also kind of share, you know, don't invest all your money in there, because that's very short-lived pleasure. Very short-lived. So if you are addicted to these things, then make a promise. You say, whatever I spend for pleasure, the same amount I give to an organization or directly to a person that I know they need it. You can give it anonymously when you know they're poor. You put it in an envelope, you put it into their letterbox, and you say, please enjoy, or something like that. I don't know. You can do that. You can do these things. It doesn't have to be much. But we wait until they come and ask, isn't it? Or we avoid them when we see they could come and ask for something. So these little things. to invite everybody as our guest. I mean, how would you feel? You know, you're really hungry and you see somebody kind of stuffing themselves with food and inviting all their friends, having a big party, and at the end, instead of giving you the food, they throw it away. How would you feel? You feel not so happy, I think. You get angry, actually. You know? Instead of being happy that they didn't eat everything and threw it away, because you can still go after it in the garbage bin.
I have a question.
Yeah.
There is an organization, they take good food, you know, from good restaurants, the leftovers every day, and they give to homeless people, poor people,
Great.
like this.
Yeah.
And they ask for donations, and I donate for a few
Yeah.
organizations, but I always check like how much money the managers get. And the manager there received a very, very high salary. Like there's a law that maximum, I think, 20% of the income can go, can be spent for wages.
Mm.
And they take the maximum, more or less, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
go-
not bodhisattvas, they're ordinary people. What do you expect from them?
And
Would you
I-
not take the maximum if you would be
No.
working there? No? You wouldn't?
no, but okay,
Would you go to your boss and say, sorry, I think you're giving me too much money, please give me less?
no, it's okay. I have a question. Like I didn't. It's okay. I'm not saying they're not okay.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, I wanted to give the money because I think what they're doing is very good. Yeah, but I decided to give the money to another organization that does the same, and
fine.
nobody gets. It's everything.
You know, whom you give the money to, this is your business. I mean, if you want to go and check where the money goes, by all means, that's okay. That's using wisdom, yeah. That's okay. That's all right.
Because I felt it was not. The idea was wonderful, I think, but I didn't feel good with the to give the money to.
To the manager.
Yeah.
And I will invite all beings to be my guest, also the manager. You see, this is the tricky thing here. So we give to the poor only because they need it. So what about just being generous? This is so difficult. This is, you know, as you really study this, you start to see how difficult this is. So it's not about where the money goes, it's more like our attitude wanting to give. This is what we're training. So then otherwise we're very calculating again, and then this and that. But yeah, if you want to give to another organization, it's fine. If you don't want to give any money directly to the homeless people, it's fine. I'm not telling you that you should. I'm just saying that if that homeless person would be your father, or your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or your brother, or your sister, your attitude would be totally different, because that person is somebody's son or daughter or father or mother or brother or sister. This is also what you train as a bodhisattva. Older people, you see, they try to see them as your parents. People younger or same age, you see them as your brothers and sisters. This is why Dalai Lama very often uses these words. You know, even the Chinese are his brothers and sisters. And not just words, but this attitude. Now, of course, if you have a totally disrupted family or you hate each other, then that doesn't work. But in general, a family is, they look after each other. They care for each other. Yeah? So then, in that way, I will invite all beings to be my guests as if they were my brothers and sisters. And if you don't have anything to offer them, you can say to your brothers and sisters, sorry, I don't have anything. Yeah? But you can still give them time, for example. Time is a very good thing to give. Time or skills or whatever. There's many things we can give. Or you know, miles away from the person, you can still send love and good thoughts. We have so much to give. Being concerned, caring about them. Like, that's very, very powerful. And then when they come, then we will be able to receive them as our guests. So it's a training. Yeah.
About what you said, generosity doesn't matter who you give to, it's the wish to give.
Yeah.
And I always felt, maybe I'm wrong, so I've always felt that it should be included in the definition, or it's included explicitly, give skillfully. Because if I give to a terrorist organization, and then they go and kill people, and I just thought very highly of them, they want to liberate the people, they mean well,
Yeah.
they
do.
gave it, yes, but from my point, I know that they do, but from my point of view, don't I have to, it's not my responsibility to observe and choose and skillfully give.
Have you looked at the perfection of generosity?
Once, yes, or twice.
That's why I said we should do them next year, because it's the right object to the right person at the right time.
So it's important who I give to, it's not just
Yes.
to give.
Yeah.
So she's right to check. I think.
It depends, you know, like this manager might be a very greedy person, so make them happy by, otherwise he loses his job. It's like, this is samsara. Again, we're trying to fix samsara here. We cannot fix samsara. Yeah. So the first thing is like the wish to give. Then, yeah, she found out that this manager is earning a lot of money, so then you give to another organization. What will happen? Maybe the organization, if everybody is like that, will the manager really say, I want less money? Or will the whole organization go bankrupt?
It's maybe the manager. I mean, these organizations, to be organized, usually they need people who have a business training and know how to manage a company, and he might be earning half or less than half of what he would earn in a commercial enterprise. So maybe he is giving. You don't know.
We really
don't know.
To
We
say
don't know.
about him,
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
you know, I
Yes,
just
this
checked
is,
out and
again, we want to, by ethical conduct, get liberated and enlightenment. We cannot. That's the first step on it, and we do as best as we can. So, you know, like these far-reaching kind of the influences that. There's this very nice Chinese story about the horses. I'm sure you know it. You know, like a farmer, he had a male horse, and the male horse ran away, and the people came, oh my gosh, it was really sad, your beautiful horse ran away. Then a few days later the horse comes back with a female wild horse, beautiful wild horse, and people comes up, wow, how fantastic. And the farmer just says, good or bad? I don't know. And then his son is kind of trying to tame that female horse, and he falls off and breaks his leg. Then again the people come, oh, you know, your young son, oh, he's got a broken leg, who knows if it will heal, this is really bad. The farmer, good or bad, you know, who knows. Then a war breaks out, and all the young men are being taken to go to war, but not this young man, because he's got a broken leg. So, good or bad, we don't know. So this is samsara, yeah, so we try to do as best as we can, but don't know. Yeah. So as Miri says, it's true, these people, they need to have skills. This is sometimes where volunteer organizations fail, because they take people who don't know how to run businesses, and then that's it. And then because even you are in a kind of welfare organization, you still need to know how to make a budget and how to run the whole thing. So you don't know. But yeah, if you want to give to somebody else, you give to somebody else. Don't know otherwise what to say. Number 7. Only the omniscient can discern the manner of the action of those who give up bodhicitta but are freed. It is beyond the scope of ordinary thought. So this goes about somebody who has given up bodhicitta but still attained liberation. It's Shariputra. Because he was asked as a bodhisattva to give his arm, and he cut it and he gave it with his left hand. And then of course the person said, oh, it's very disrespectful to give with the left hand, now I need also your left hand. And he got so discouraged about this total kind of, you know, that these beings, they never have enough, they take advantage of me, they want more and more and more and more. And he gave up bodhicitta, but he still attained, I think, should I put that? Yeah, liberation. So he goes into the founder vehicle. That's the story. Yeah. So